Hey guys, who's ready to see an amazing transformation using the Pretty Actions LUXE Newborn collection? Now this is for Photoshop, so we will be editing in Photoshop. I know we've done some edits using our newborn collection. This one is more there's more things wrong, I guess, that need to be fixed with the before photo. And I really wanted to show you what all the newborn collection can do. So here goes. I hope you guys are excited to watch this tutorial. We'll be going over what actions we use to get this beautiful creamy look, get baby's skin creamy and glowing, and of course to create that background there. Obviously it's kind of missing on the left hand side, which is very common when editing or photographing newborns on a beanbag. Okay, so to get started, the first thing I like to do is clean up my background. So we're going to work on the beanbag here. It's never a good idea to work on your background layer or your original background layer, so I like to duplicate it. I'm going to click and drop it here on this little square with the folded corner at the bottom of my layers panel. Okay, you can also go to layer and duplicate layer. Okay. So this is the layer that I'll be working on initially. The first thing I want to do is get rid of the little pacifier. And I'm just going to use that or fix that by using my spot healing brush tool. Okay, I'm working in the most updated version of Photoshop CC. You should have a content aware tool. Or a spot healing brush tool. I have it on the content aware filter, or just a regular healing brush tool is fine. And I use my left and right bracket keys to make the brush larger and smaller. And I'm just going to cover the entirety of the pacifier there so it samples from areas around it. All right, and it might not look perfect right off the bat. I'm still going to go over this area with an action, and I'll show you how that works in a moment. Sometimes I'll select the patch tool. I'm just right clicking on my spot healing brush tool here, and you can circle the area that you want to fix. Ta-da! Okay. All right, so just playing with that a little bit here. Okay, so now I'm going to look through my action collection. Again, this is Pretty Actions LUXE Newborn collection. So we have our amazing blanket brushes. Love them. They are lifesavers, okay? And they'll match literally, virtually any blanket color that you're using in your photo session. So let's take a look. I want to fill the background here, so I'm going to select a blanket fill and press play. And the entire action has instructions, so just follow the instructions and you will be a-okay. So a pop-up is about to appear. Our color picker box will pop up. There we go. So I have my color picker box. I automatically have my little color dropper here. I don't have to select anything to make that appear. And I'm just going to select or click on different areas of my photo that I want to sample the blanket color from. And this is what I'm going to use to kind of stretch or paint the rest of the blanket here in the background. And it's okay if you select something and later you change your mind and like, oh, maybe that's a little too dark or light. You can always change that easily later on as well. So I'm going to press OK. Bam, that was super easy. Okay, so you want to make sure your brush is selected. White is automatically going to be set as the foreground color, and that plays through the action. Also, make sure your brush opacity is set at 100%, okay? So I'm just going to start painting on here I do want to paint over just to the edge of where the blanket is. So right now it's kind of looking a little unnatural, and that's fine. We're gonna blend it in. That's the key to adding a blanket fill, is being able to blend. So I'm gonna take the opacity down to about 20, and I'm gonna start brushing and blending the blanket color. And of course, you're going to have to go over that several times to get a really nice blend. I'm just going to keep going here. Okay, and I just want to bring that color up around baby's bottom. Maybe a little bit under this way. Okay, now if I did decide that maybe I don't like that color, it wasn't right, you can just open the folder. If you have Photoshop Elements, scroll down to the bottom of your collection and run open folder. But I'm working with CC, so I'm going to open that folder, and you can just double click on that little color box and then click within the box to change the color. Okay, so some of these are a bit drastic. You'll want to click close to where the color or the original color rather, that you had selected. So I'm going to press cancel. I actually like that. Let's do a little bit more color blending. I'm going to run blanket fill just one more time and press play. Continue, continue. Okay, so this time I'm going to click on a bit of a lighter color and press OK. And I'm still going to work with a low opacity. I'm just working on some more blending, so you're not going to see any major changes as I'm painting here with the brush. Just a little bit of blending. So you want this to look as natural as possible. And if you feel that maybe you accidentally painted over baby, just bring black to the foreground color. You can bring the opacity back up to 100% and just paint over the edges to make sure that you didn't get any on baby. I think it's really important not to get this on the skin. Sometimes if there's a little bit of overlap on the blanket, depending on the image, it might look enhance the image and make it just look a little creamy and nice, but you don't want to lose the actual image of baby. So it really depends on the image that you're working with. Okay, so I really like that. Whoops, undo that. I still have black as the foreground color there. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to work with this top layer just a little bit here. And I think I'm actually going to lighten the color. I think I might have selected too dark of a color here. So I'm going to open that up, double click, and I'm going to click on a color that's very close, just a little bit lighter. I really like that. Okay, so I'm going to stick with that. Close the folder. Now, if you have Photoshop CS3 through CS6 or CC, you can open your history panel and click on your little menu option and take a snapshot. Snapshots are nice because you can tell I've been working with this photo for a little bit here, but snapshot 4 is actually our #1 for this edit. But if you ever make a mistake and just want to go back to a certain history or point of time in your edit, you can go back to that particular snapshot. All of your layers will be there, which is amazing. That's the best part of Photoshop, is having your layers available so you can go back and make changes throughout your edit. Sometimes you will want to flatten your layers just to keep your workspace a little decluttered. At this point, I am going to go ahead and flatten. All right, next thing I'm going to do is duplicate my layer one more time. So now that we've gotten the background taken care of, I like to fix baby's skin, like little imperfections and red spots I'll take out, little scratches. And I do that using the spot healing brush tool. Now, some things are, of course, at the photographer's discretion. I personally don't like to take out the little skin flakes. I think that's just a cute detail of the newborn, and I don't really like to take that out so much. So I'm just going through and clicking on some of the newborn acne. The spot healing brush tool really just makes that go away with one click. So I'm just going over a few spots here. Okay, and really I think that looks pretty nice. You can see a real quick before and after just by turning that particular layer on and off. Baby's skin is looking pretty clean here. I like it. I'm going to flatten the layers just because I would like to run a skin smoother. So I went ahead and flattened my layers here. I'm going to select smooth as a baby's bottom. Again, we have our handy dandy instructions. When I brush this on, it is going to beautifully smooth baby's skin. I love this action. Again, I'm making my brush smaller using the left bracket key. Remember to look at your opacity. Mine is at 28, so I'm going to bring that back up to 100%. And really, this is just a beautiful, subtle action to smooth baby's skin ever so softly. Okay, and I'm just going to brush around on baby's face here. I'll go over some of the little hairs up on the forehead, but the larger areas of hair, like up here, I'm not going to brush over that. I also like to steer clear of baby's eyebrows. That can be a personal preference as well. Definitely do not go over the defining areas of the nose or the eye crease here or the lips. La la la. Okay, I know you guys didn't get on here to listen to me sing. I'm just trying to pass the time here. A good way to, with smoothing actions and some other really subtle actions, it might be hard to tell where you've already painted, where you haven't. A good way to see is by pressing the backslash key. Everything that's red is what has not yet been touched by the brush. So I can kind of see and go in here with a better eye at what I'm editing and make really precise corrections and brush strokes here. So I really like that feature. Okay. All right, and for newborns, I'll probably go down to about 70% smoothing on the rest of the skin. And I'll steer clear of, say, like this crease between the two legs. You still want that definite, definition of body parts and, things that are present in the image. Little creases on the toes and the feet can go over. We're just about done here. There we go. So again, if you make a mistake, you can just bring black to the foreground color, bring the opacity to 100%, and brush it off of an area that you had not meant to apply it to. Okay, so the skin is looking very soft and smooth. One thing I love to do with actions is just to take them down to 0 and work my way up until I find that it's working best with a particular image. I actually like this one at 100%. So we're going to keep that as is. Well, let's get into the fun parts. Oh, actually, I was just about to run some more actions, but I did want to show you guys something super, super cool that you may be able to use on some of your newborn photos. Let me go ahead and flatten this real quickly. Layer, flatten. Okay, I'm going to duplicate my background layer. Again, we're just dragging to the square at the bottom of our layers panel with the folded corner. And I realized after I took this picture that baby wasn't being weighted down at the bottom, so to speak. So he was kind of floating up here in the middle. So I wanted to weight the picture, bring him down just a little bit, and tilt him up ever so slightly, and just bring him over to the right a little bit. I know what you're thinking. Oh my goodness, you just did all that to the background and now you're going to have to go back and smooth it out again because there's a clear line. But there is a trick to this, guys. There's a secret shortcut. And I'm going to show you. I'm just going to grab my marquee tool. And it's kind of hard to see the line over on the left here, but I'm just going to click somewhere and bring it down just a little bit. So I've selected from that obvious line here on the top down to above baby's hat. Now I'm going to select my move tool, and you should have your show transform controls selected here. I'm just going to click on the little box and bring it up. So basically I'm stretching that little area that I selected. Since this is a smooth background, it's going to work. It's not going to look unnatural. Now if there are trees and stuff, you would be stretching them vertically and it might look a little weird. But in this case, it is absolutely just fine. Okay, so I am now going to select a little bit over here because you can see that line in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm being a little nitpicky, I know. There we go. Bam. Perfect. And deselect. Okay. So that's just a cool little trick. You can see the before and after. Baby's kind of floating in the middle. Here we've just weighted the image and brought him down just a tiny bit. Okay, one more cool trick before we move on to some more actions. I know you guys are really digging this. So I'm going to go to liquefy. And something, again, maybe your taste, may not be. I don't like to do this too often, but I do like to round out baby's bottom because they are wearing diapers in my images. I know sometimes you can just take that diaper, off, but then, when they're wrapped, I don't see the point because they're going to poop in your wraps and it's going to get all yucky. But you can see that poking out there. So I'm just going to soften it. And I'm just going to pull that bum inwards and kind of, round out this part of the image. And you really want to be careful and make sure that you're not changing the orientation of any of baby's body parts. If you make that brush really big, you're going to start moving the legs inward and it'll look like it's been warped. But that's a really nice rounded off bum. So I'm going to leave that as is. I just pressed OK. So again, before and after, very slight change. Now I'm going to move in and start running some pretty skin actions. The skin brushes come with the collection. I'm still in my Luxe Newborn collection from Pretty Actions. I love this collection for all of my newborn photos. Let's see here. So first I do realize there's a ton of red and purple in the feet. So I'm going to run Kiss Away the Red. And then just to make things quicker, I'm going to click on Purple Be Gone and run that as well. Okay, so whichever layer mask you're clicking on is the one that you're working with. just so you know, because I realized I ran 2 at a time. So I'm going to click on Kiss Away the Red. I'm clicking on the layer mask, which is the little black rectangle. Of course, my brush is still selected. I'm just going to bring it to 100%. Change the size of my brush. Voila. It's just amazing at sculpting your image to exactly what you envision in your head. So I'm going to keep that at 60%. Purple be gone. Yeah, there's some purple in those piggy toes there. I'm just going to take that out, and we're going to play with this section. Okay, and later on when we add, I like to add some color to the feet if I take out too much red and purple. His feet were pretty red and purple, so I'm going to add some color back to that later on. But for now, let's go ahead and stick with the skin. I'm going to run Healthy Glow. Okay. I still have my brush selected. Remember, all of these actions for the skin, you will not notice a change until you actually paint it onto the skin, because these are brushes. And yes, I'm painting right over the lips, right over everything. This just adds a really nice healthy glow and pop to the skin. So why not add that to absolutely everything on baby? Love it. Okay. And I love glowing skin, so I'm going to bring this to 100. I'm actually going to play it again and just add it to the soles and the top of baby's feet. And we're going to run Buttercream and press play. Let's go ahead and apply that as well to the entirety of baby's face. Now this is kind of lightening some of his skin a little bit, brightening it. Sometimes I'll remove it from the lips, which I think I am in this image. We just zoom in a little bit there. Okay, and you can remove it from little details. Maybe the lash line, around the nose. Okay, that's really nice. I'm liking it. Alrighty, and I'm actually going to bring that up just a little bit here. Keep that right around 50%. Okay, so next I'm sticking with that nice, pretty glowy skin that I'm going for. I'm going to scroll down towards the bottom. Let's see, where's my, let me find my brush here. Okay, bonus brushes. Lights on, lighten. Okay, I want to add a little bit more of a bright glow to baby's skin, so I'm going to brush this on as well. I mean, skin is everything, especially with newborn images. You want that baby to look baby soft, okay? So I'm going to open this up, clean sculpt my top layer. I'm just going to bring it up a little bit here. Okay, close my folder. Again, if you have elements, just scroll to the bottom of your collection and you'll have an open folder action. Okay, so our skin is looking pretty great. I want to actually enhance the rest of the image. Real quick here, I'm noticing, just because I'm kind of speeding through this edit here, I'm noticing little things that I missed. So another great thing about layers is you can go back to any one of them during any time of your edit and keep making changes. So I'm going back to my background layer here. I'm going to select my spot healing tool, make the brush a little larger. I'm going to take out this little weird spot that was on the blanket that I did not notice. And he also has a little hair on his eye right here. I can kind of see that coming out. Oops, spot healing brush tool. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to take that out. There we go. Ta-da! Okay, so that's looking great. Let's go ahead and run some actions, guys. I know that's what you've been waiting for. We have beautiful creamy skin. And now we're just going to add some overall actions and enhance the lips and cheeks here in just a moment. So I'm going to scroll to the top. One action that I use on almost every single edit is Fresh Start Base. Press play. There we go. I'm going to keep that at 100%. And next I'm going to work with the lips and cheeks, and then we'll kind of warm up the image a bit and we'll be done. Super, super simple. I'm going to run Sweet Cheeks Blush. Grab my brush, make it a little bit bigger. Now I see a little bit more red on this side of his cheek, so I'm going to lower the opacity on that side. Bam. Super cute. Okay, lip rouge. I'm going to press play, bring my brush opacity back up to 100%. Ideally, you want to get in really close to your image when, making targeted adjustments. I am trying to kind of breeze through this here just to show you guys what all this collection can do. I'm going to make my brush super, super tiny. I just ran lash detail. This is really just going to accentuate and make that line, that crease on baby's eyes, just kind of pop and really define the eye area. Bam. Okay, and I'm just going to bring that up maybe a little bit. Loving it. Okay, so now we're going to scroll down and run some of our soothing enhancers. Okay, so first we're going to run Snuggie. Where's Snuggie? I think it's down, there we go. And press play. Okay, and this really warms up the image and gives it a nice soft tone. Okay, so again, I brought the opacity down to 0, and I'm just working my way up until I find that it's working best for the image. Look at the nice warmth that was just brought into this photo. Okay, loving it. Let's just add a few more and we'll be done. I want to run Soft Cotton. Press play. So again, we're just going to bring that down to 0. Especially when you start mixing actions, you can get a really nice custom look, but mixing them all at the 100% range that it plays at could just end up being too much. So you want to bring that back down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run Hissy Fit. That adds a lot of drama to the image. Bringing the opacity down, I'm going to keep that right around 19%. One last thing that I like to do with any image that I'm editing is make a levels adjustment layer. So I'm going to click on my little half circle down at the bottom of my layers panel, and I'm going to click on levels. You can also use curves, whichever you're most comfortable with. I know Elements versions do just have the levels, so I like to use them in tutorials just to kind of show you what I'm doing, and something that works for everyone. So with this image, sometimes I like to add more contrast, more brightness, and I know this is really targeted and is a great overall tool that you can use. I'm just going to darken my darks a little bit by bringing in that left dial. Maybe brighten the brights just a tiny bit and bring the midtones up. No, I think I'll keep that. And you can click on the little eye at the bottom just to see the changes, ever so slight though it may be. I think it was the perfect touch, guys. We are done. How fun was that? So we had, let me go ahead and take a snapshot again here real quick, guys. New snapshot. Okay. So we're going to go back to the beginning. Okay, this is our image. We had that big gap on the left corner. The pacifier, let me zoom out, was over here on the right. baby skin, though didn't have too many issues going on with it. It just wasn't very soft and glowy. This image was taken indoors with natural light, so it just needed a little bit of help there with the editing. We had cleaned up the background. Snapshot number 4. Number 5, we cleaned up the skin a little bit, and bam, we are done. Look at that beautiful edit. Creamy skin. Now, if you didn't, we went with more of like a warm, buttery edit with lots of yellows in there. If you didn't want that, you could take some of the buttercream out of the skin, turn that action off, or maybe bring it down. Sometimes seeing the before and after is nice because you can realize, oh, maybe I need to take 1 or 2 actions down a little bit. I'm going to take that one down to about 26. And again, guys, that's the beauty of Photoshop, is just being able to make those changes to each of the adjustments and actions. Of course, look at all of our actions stacked beautifully on top of one another. I love it. And I hope you guys had a ton of fun going through this edit here with me and seeing how easy it is to edit newborn images and how beautiful it is with Pretty Actions Luxe Newborn Collection.